Radio V. Radio in TV.
Radio in TV.
All right. Whoa, this is loud here. You got me blaring here, Jake. Inside Metal Show here on TradioV. What you heard there was a little classic, and I mean classic new wave of British heavy metal from the band Legend, Torture. But let me go ahead and introduce the guys. We got a full party today. I mean, this is awesome. We got the guys in Exmortus, Holy Grail, and Legend, and Jasmin St. We got Mario and Conan. Mario Conan Marino from, of course, Exmortus, who just played here with Marty Friedman.
Yes.
What's that? 2 weeks ago, right? You were in L.A.
About, 2-3 weeks.
Yeah. All right. And we got Holy Grail, Eli and Tyler in the house from Holy Grail, another fantastic band, both on Prosthetic Records. And my man, old school, new wave of British heavy metal band Legend, Neil Haworth, who I've, I've been a Legend fan ever since I was, 15, 16 years old. Love the band, one of the greatest new wave British heavy metal bands. I can't say enough. I'm sporting the shirt here. And of course, my lovely co-host, Miss Jasmin St.
Hi.
So
I don't feel like a minority today because there are Latins here.
There you go.
Complete satanic Hispanic
Well, you're
going
Latin
on
too,
here.
right?
Yeah,
You're
this
Brazilian,
is perfect.
so-
Now I don't feel like I'm omitted because you're Armenian.
So he's the only whitey here.
Yeah, no, he's not. He's white.
There you go.
Yeah.
Jake's white.
Right side.
And
I
he
guess
did get a
I'm
haircut.
white. I'm Armenian. That's
I'm so glad you guys are here.
You know, it's so
This is
funny
awesome.
because last week we had no guests. We were
Yes.
supposed to have Sepultura. They came in later that night, and Brian from Cleopatra was going to maybe show up, and and then on this show we had too many guests. I was at the Ghost Show last night, and I was
Yes.
hanging out with the guys in Opeth were there, and
Yes.
Frederick wanted to come down today too, and
Yes.
I'm like, it'd be great to have you down, but I think we got a little bit too many people. But it's like you never know who's in town that week, so I always have to try to overbook sometimes because someone's going to cancel or they can't make it, and then other times we have no guests, and other times we have too many guests. But this is great. Neil was actually in town, just on vacation, right, here in L.A.?
That's right, just come out.
Awesome.
From Jersey, England.
Jersey.
Yes.
Oh, Jersey.
Yes. Not New Jersey. The
Hey guys,
original Jersey.
hey, how y'all doing? This is Jake in the control room. This show cannot work. You got to talk into the mics, guys.
Oh, talk into the
please,
mics.
Yeah,
pick them up like you
on.
care to be here. Thank
Go ahead,
you.
sir.
Are you
Oh,
a Jets
sorry.
fan, or is that... No, that's another jersey.
Cool. So, Jasmin.
Yes, I'm excited to have Exmortus in the studio. When I first met these guys, they were on Liquid Metal, Jose Manchin's show in New York. You guys were just starting out, kind of. I remember you guys drove the van into Manhattan. Yeah. You're really, really worried about parking and possibly getting a ticket because we all know cops are assholes, especially in New York City. But moving right along, what have you guys actually been up to besides touring? I hope you guys make it to Inferno Festival in Norway. We're really rooting for that to happen.
Yeah, that would
so
be awesome.
What are you guys doing these days?
Well, we did the Marty Friedman tour earlier in the year. There you go.
No.
Earlier in the year, we did nothing. Well, we were writing an album. Yeah, at the beginning of the year, and then we did the Marty tour. So we've just kind of been writing and jamming out. That's it.
Didn't you
Cool.
guys play a Ducks game, or you played?
No, that was the LA
Yeah.
Kings, right?
What was
The,
that?
LA Kiss game.
The Kiss.
How was that?
Yeah.
That was pretty awesome. We did a Kiss song, which is cool.
Which one?
What did we
We
do?
did Love Gun.
Did Gene Simmons try to sue you or anything like
no,
that?
he wasn't there, but his lawyers were.
Okay.
They gave us- no, but it was pretty cool because they had like pyro. They had like
Yes.
we got to do like digga-da-da, digga-da-da, digga-digga-da-da. So that was cool. That mini Kiss.
And you did Not Fest, right? Or at least a few shows. didn't you?
That was last year. We did not.
That was okay.
I don't think you're missing anything because Slipknot totally sucks. I don't care what anyone
Oh,
says.
Oh,
Yes.
Yeah,
I think they suck. But what do you guys have planned then? So you have any LA shows planned? Am I going to see you guys play live soon? Anytime?
You just missed them 2 weeks
Just
ago at the
missed
Whiskey.
us.
Where was I?
Yes.
What was I
I
doing?
invited you.
Where was
You were out
I?
of town.
Oh.
I had an extra
Sorry.
ticket. It was good to see Marty. That's a great tour, man. I mean, I've known Marty since the Vixen days. We were pen pals back when he lived in Hawaii. And 16
Pen
pen pals,
pals?
yes.
Was he
he
in
used to write
jail?
letters. Just like your brother, Pete and I. No, he was in the band Hawaii, who lived in Hawaii. And then he came over. I booked his first show. They came over, a little quick story. Hawaii came over from Hawaii to LA, and they were on Shrapnel. They had, some success, particularly in Europe, and they thought they could come to LA and book all these shows. So the whole band is in LA from Hawaii. They shipped over their equipment from Hawaii, which, like Jersey and Island, you have to ship it out, so it's very expensive. They're like 6 guys in this little small motel room on Sunset, and they don't have any shows booked. They thought they could just come here and book shows. So they're like, Bob, could you get me a show? So I booked them at a small club called Radio City, which was a great club. In fact, I saw Metallica's very first show there back in '81, and it was in Orange County, and they did a killer show, and then they went up to San Francisco, and they did a real amazing show in San Francisco. But yeah, that was so I actually had a documentarian guy that was or doing the documentary for Marty, and we talked about that and the Megadeth and stuff. So yeah, it was a lot of fun. So Holy Grail, man, what do you
Holy
guys got
crap.
going on?
Besides nice hair. Like really nice hair.
It's a wig. Don't
Yeah,
don't
is
worry.
it? I'm going to rip it off.
Yeah.
Eli's got that Fabio kind of thing going on, man.
Fabio?
You probably got all the chicks, dude.
Dude,
Yeah.
you can't say that to Latins. That's like gay shit.
I can't believe it's not butter either. So,
So what do you guys have going on?
We were playing with King Diamond in San Diego on the 4th.
Yeah, I'll be at that show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know who he is. Played for the Span Merciful Fate. No big
Oh,
deal.
yeah, I know who the king is.
Just the one show in
Man.
San Diego? Or
Yeah,
you-
just a
oh,
one
man.
show. I was like,
No.
yeah, we might just tag along with him the whole
There you
time.
go.
And then after that, we're doing a week and a half run. 2.5 weeks?
Yeah.
Is it 2.5? Look at us.
Yes.
In December, and then kind of like a West Coast run, and then that ends with Death Angel and Flotsam and Jetsam.
Oh, cool.
And it's very Christmassy. So I don't know if
Very
there's
cool.
maybe a Christmas cover we could come up with. We don't know.
There you
We'll
go.
figure it out.
And you guys, you're still in San Diego, right?
Yes.
That area, cool.
Yeah.
A lot of metal. Were you in Whitechapel, or a couple of the guys in the band?
Well, the Azerly Dying Woven War
Okay.
guys are down there.
Okay,
One
but-
guy's not leaving anytime soon.
I heard about that. Yeah.
Is
Well, I
he
know
in
there's a
jail?
lot of
Isn't
metal
someone
down
in
there
jail or
in.
something?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we won't get
Uh-oh.
into that, but it's
No,
not a
but
long story.
the other guys are in Woven War, and they actually
Okay.
run a club in Brick by Brick, and it's awesome.
Right,
Yes.
right.
Super.
Yeah, a lot of
good
bands.
dudes.
Cage,
Yeah.
of course, Sean Peck, he's down
Yeah.
there, and a lot of good traditional metal. It's so great to hear, bands here in the States now really doing that awesome, both you guys,
They're from Whittier, right?
Yeah, right. Doing that
West
killer.
Whittier.
There you go, Whittier. in the
Be
house.
careful, man. You might get a bunch of NWA guys or like some Bloods or Crips
know,
coming
right?
after you.
So we got how much time before we go into a break, Mr. Jake? This is Jake, our producer, by the way, guys.
He did get a haircut,
Jake.
by the way.
Did you? Did you get a haircut, Jake? See, Jasmine.
Oh my God, we really need this.
Jasmine
Yeah, I got a
noticed.
haircut.
Yeah.
Looks so good.
Very fashionable. So let's get into Neil before we do
Yes.
a break, man. Tell us a little bit about Legend for those people that don't know about Legend.
Right, okay. Legend.
You got to speak in the mic.
All right. Well, Legend was originally formed by my brother Pete, and in late '79, 1980 released the first album. 81.
A little closer.
Right.
There you
Okay. Had really went down locally really well. Was right in that role of the new wave British heavy metal bands that were coming out at the time. Did a second album in
There you
'82, Death in the Nursery
Awesome
EP, Frontline EP after that. We then started kind of playing outside the island. Did the Marquee, the famous Marquee Club in London in '84, and then it kind of didn't really happen for the band. It was one of those things, we
And
nearly got there, but
yeah,
it didn't
definitely one of the best, seriously, of
Bob,
all the new
Jake's
wave
trying to
British
tell you
heavy metal
something.
bands. So we got a caller calling in.
Oh, great.
All right, come on in, caller. You are on the line.
Saw the sign.
Yeah, you might have to put on your headphones. Caller, can you hear us? Yo.
Yes, I'm here.
There he is, Pete.
Oh,
Right
it's your brother.
My
That's
brother.
awesome.
there he is.
Hi,
Really?
Pete.
So
this is live. I'm watching it, dude. This is cool.
that's very cool. So now we got Pete, the legend of Legend, on the
Yes.
phone with his brother
yeah,
Neil.
Yeah, I can hear you.
So, Neil was telling me earlier because Neil actually came in on the EP, the Frontline EP.
I came in just after the EP.
Okay.
So we were writing. What happened was that I was always with the band as far as like road crew and everything else with Pete writing or giving feedback at least on the stuff that was coming out. So I knew all the stuff inside out,
Right.
even though I wasn't physically playing in the band. And then Eggy, the bass player, unfortunately did his back in, and I had to step in right last minute on bass.
Right.
My normal, I'm a guitarist by normal trade. And then I joined, and then we carried on with me on bass.
Cool. Hey, Pete, what do you think of my shirt?
I think the shirt looks remarkably brilliant.
There you go. There you
Of
go.
course.
So, Pete, one of my favorite, seriously, dude, absolute favorite metal songwriters, music and lyrics. This dude is a true genius, man. Talk about the time you guys went to England when you saw Maiden back in like '79, right? You saw a lot of the early shows.
I used to travel quite a lot from Jersey to London to go and see a lot of bands, from 78, 79.
I love hearing about this old new wave of British heavy metal
so I saw a
stuff.
lot of the bands at the Marquee Club. Maiden, Praying Mantis, and all those the bands at the time. And I think it was late '79 where they just released the Soundhouse tapes
Right.
on vinyl, and they had it for sale there.
I've got a copy.
Yeah, he's got a copy.
But the original,
The
right?
original, there was only 500 pressed, and they hadn't got the picture sleeve printed. So when I bought them, they had the little slips of paper saying, "Sorry guys, picture sleeve's going to be available in a couple of weeks at wherever they were playing, Ruskin Arms or wherever." And I bought two, one for me, one for brother. And came back, and then when the guys were over, they came
Maiden
over to
came to Jersey,
in '83 to rehearse and write Peace of Mind album. So they rented a big hotel on the west coast of the island, and I got to know them really, really
And
well.
you played tennis with Steve Harris.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
awesome. And who won?
Steve Harris.
Of course.
That guy's a true athlete, man.
He was, yeah.
He's like a pro soccer guy. I mean,
Yeah,
that guy's,
me and a good friend John Allenby. So John, if you're listening in Jersey, we used to go up there and play him, and he used to just knock us all over the court and not beat a sweat on his face, and we'll be totally knackered. He was a good player. And Steve said to me, he says on that particular night they didn't hardly sell any of that single. So what I have is pretty rare. I think Pete's lost his piece of paper. It's that piece of paper that's inside that's saying
Right.
sorry, So so I got the band to sign it. And at that time, Nico had just joined the band, but no one knew about it. So the likes of Ross Halfin and whatever all flying in, ready for the big, to let everybody know that Clive had gone.
And then you
gone
played the Marquee the next year in '84.
Yeah,
You had guys. Lemmy was a huge fan of you guys. You had everyone come
yeah,
down.
yeah.
Don't talk about Lemmy. Don't talk about Lemmy.
Oh,
Lemmy's
come on.
awesome.
Brilliant night. We were playing there with Benny Tormey. I don't even remember him from Gillen Bay.
Sure.
And Ozzy. And so Lemmy came up to us after the gig, and basically I think he bought a copy of the Death in the Surf, the Nursery album, and got Pete to sign it. And then he said, "Come on, guys, we're not staying here." And he took me and Pete off to the St. Moritz Club in Soho, which was the place to hang out. And
Who took you there again? I'm sorry, Rob
Lemmy.
Halford? Oh, okay, Lemmy. All
yeah.
right.
And I think we woke up the next morning trying to remember what happened. It was a heavy night, yeah.
All right.
I mean, we walked into St. Moritz Club, and there was guys from bands that, wow.
So 1 minute, okay. Hey, in this minute, do you have the video queued up for the Legend video for Hiroshima? We can play it after the break. Oh, he might have it queued up here.
That'd
Thanks
be
for sending
cool.
that over. This is from 1980 or 81, 80 probably when this.
1980.
Not 80.
Yeah.
One
No,
of
it's 81.
81. is
Okay.
Old age.
So, you know what's funny? While he's picking this up, I was talking to Neil Pete about Jersey, and he's telling me that's a big financial district and all that, and as a kid growing up listening to Legend, and I tell you, the Death in the Nursery, the first album is one of the heaviest. I mean, the best heavy album since Black Sabbath. I mean, one of the I can't say enough. And then Death in the Nursery, little bit more diverse, and it kind of grew on me a bit. But I used to read the lyrics to that album on the headphones, and it was just pure genius. But I would like imagine this totally desolate island of like bombed out island that was the horseman with the ball and chain like on your. And I'm thinking it's just like this total dreary with, foghorns and all this stuff. And I would listen to the lyrics and just picture all this. And then all of a sudden he tells me that it's this big financial district and the singer's a banker and all this. And it just ruined everything for me. It's like the image of legend was lost. But that's you got it? Can we play it before the break? Yeah, let's play this. This is Hiroshima from, what was this, Pete? Some newscast or something in Jersey? Are you there, Pete?
It was Channel TV.
Channel TV, so for the Channel Islands.
Yeah, it's the local TV
like
company that put it together, and because Legend were making a big name locally, so they gave the band a bit of a push on the local news and
cool. You got
local programs.
All right.
To one of the tracks now. It's called Hiroshima, and it's rather appropriate because Legend are due to play at a CND rock concert early next year. So let's go and hear what it's all about.
We knew the world would not be the same. Few people laughed. Few people cried. Most people were silent. I remembered the line from the Hindu scripture, the Bhagavad Gita. Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds.
Beyond Slayer, Metallica, and Dark Angel.
That is so thrash. That is so over the top. The most extreme music I'd ever heard.
We were all hanging out together. We were all united around the belief in this music, and it brought us together.
San Francisco gets talked about all the time, but LA had a fierce metal scene.
But man, we had to fight the good fight against most of what LA stood for.
LA did not get the credit. It was stolen from San Francisco. They took all the credit. All these bands started emerging who were following in the footsteps of the new wave of British heavy metal.
And it was just blood. It was just brutal blood, man. Just fights and just, there was no control. There was no control.
The danger was part of the excitement.
Kidnap a bouncer, set him on fire, tie him to a chair, beat him up. I watched them do stuff like that.
And I've got the biggest band in San Francisco opening for you. We're like, Y&T? He's like, no, Metallica. We're like, who?
Good grief.
You know, Metallica's much bigger than Diamond it ever were.
So we got a copy of No Life to Leather, put it on, it was like...
Metallica was the first time I heard the punk element plus the new wave of British heavy metal put together. I'm like, this is it. I loved it.
Said, well, we're going to headline LA. That's our hometown, so we're going to headline, and Metallica going before us. Well, that was a big mistake, because then they came on and just destroyed us.
We went on right before Metallica, and there's still like that thread. There's no way we're going to blow away Metallica or anything, but I mean, we're going to fucking try.
When we opened for Queensway, people really had no idea who we were. And this is a big arena, and I remember looking at an audience and people having this look of terror.
And the whole place was, the ceiling was sweating.
That's rock star shit. Getting up fucking roadies, you know?
You got all the metal guys on one side of the parking lot, and you got all the punkers on the other side, and the animosity's already started. It was just crazy. It was youth. You know, it was youth.
All right, Inside Metal on TradioV. I'm watching like two different things here. Little Exmortus there for you.
Isn't this great?
Yes, that's from your last album, right? Cool, good stuff, man. Both bands, man. Both on Prosthetic Records. You could check them both out. Definitely got that traditional. A lot of the new wave of British heavy metal, of course, a lot of Maiden and a lot of influence, and you guys got a little bit more of a death metal edge. Which
vocally,
awesome.
I don't sing like clean.
Right.
Why would you?
I can't.
You guys are doing Slave to the Sword still, right? That's what you're touring on. But if you had to describe the sound of Exmortus to someone who's never heard them before, how would you describe it besides satanic?
Satanic Hispanics.
Yes.
Yeah. That's a good question. I mean, we've been trying to figure that out for a whole decade, I think.
It's like if Yngwie Malmsteen joined a death metal band, I think.
Really?
Pretty much, yeah.
I think, it's like neoclassical, kind of heavy.
People have said we sound like something like Slingve, Slayer and Yngwie at once,
Okay.
right?
Right on.
I still miss your hair. When this guy used to have his hair, it was like more epic than Shane from Napalm Death. Like you could spot him out. But I guess that you don't want something that distinctive in case you get arrested or something like that. Or in a lineup or some shit.
I'd be. You know who Questlove is?
No.
Questlove, he plays Roots. Jimmy Fallon show.
Yeah, I know Questlove,
I'd be walking down the street and people would be yelling like Questlove at me like everywhere we went. It's pretty crazy.
Well, we just watched the trailer to the thrash metal movie we were doing, and we saw Rocky George. He's like, dude, that was my hair.
Yeah, I think you told me that like the first time when we did the Jose interview. You're like, hey, it's fucking Rocky.
Yeah, I was like, look who's here.
Yeah.
But you guys have come a long way. I really hope to see you guys play more shows and do some really big festivals. And hopefully, Norway Inferno Festival, you need to book Exmortus.
Well, you guys were ruling all over. I mean, both the bands were doing tons of
Yeah.
festivals. Vakken, I know you did Download. I mean, you did so many killer festivals. Of course, in Europe, your music is here in the States. It's starting to build, quite a bit more. I think you did. You mentioned you did a couple Knotfests last year. How is it here in the States? Is it as far as festival wise and otherwise touring wise? Is it getting a little bit easier for both you guys?
Well, we haven't really been overseas. So we just kind of just experienced the U.S. side.
I know Holy Grail did a lot of stuff, a lot of the European festivals.
Yeah, we haven't really been in a while.
Mm.
But the festivals are awesome.
Sure.
We still made a lot of fans over there. But yeah, just like Exmortus, we've spent a lot of time in the States, a lot of Canada, which we love Canada.
Cool.
They buy a...
There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Wrong with Canada,
it's okay to be
please.
Canadian. Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah, they buy
Just
a
you
lot
got
of
arrested
merch,
there.
right?
Yeah.
We do so well in Canada too. Yeah, that's good.
That's awesome.
Okay, well, let's just drop Canada. I had a warrant for my arrest there for 8 years. Let's go on to the States. What do you have planned as far as a tour, and what album are you touring on now?
We have we finished an album.
Yeah.
What can we talk about on that?
We have a new album and it's mixed and it's ready to go.
What's
but
it called?
It's not released.
Oh, we can
Okay.
say the name of it,
No,
right?
we can't.
We can't?
Oh, man.
I saw it online. It was online somewhere.
I hit plutonium or something.
Yeah. Well, our singer's been saying it. I think.
If you can find it online, then it's probably okay, right?
Well, let's talk about Ride the Void. Your previous
okay,
album
yeah.
before it. So we don't.
Where's Kelly?
We don't want to
She's-
get Kelly in
She's
trouble.
probably scowling at me somewhere. Like,
No,
don't you say
don't.
it? Yeah. Ride the Void's been out for a couple years. I just saw it because like Facebook reminds me of my memories in life, apparently. And I just saw a couple days ago or yesterday that 5 years ago that day our first record, Crisis in Utopia, had been out. So yeah, we take a long time to do things.
But you still release. I mean, since you Intercepted, you release an album or an EP every year, pretty much, right? I mean, you've got like four or five records out, right? Or
we got 2 records and 2 EPs.
Yeah.
Probably.
Does singles
Yeah.
count? Just because it's on vinyl, it looks good.
Yeah. So
Cool,
you
it's
put out a lot of
back.
vinyl, yeah, which is awesome.
Bring back 8-tracks now.
So you guys obviously, I mean, you guys are young kids, you know. I mean, you obviously grew up, you know, the stuff that this guy was playing, the early new wave of British heavy metal and all that stuff. How did that come about? Did you have older siblings or just? You could
And
both,
how old are you, real quick? You're saying 5 years ago. What are you, like 18 or something? Or
Flatter, who'll get you everywhere with me.
How old are you? Tell me.
I'm mid-30s.
Okay. All right. So okay. Yeah. So go ahead. Anyway.
I guess they're not too young.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead. I mean, what got you guys into this, you know, great traditional style of metal? You know, the Judas Priest, Maiden kind of stuff.
For me, actually, it was again dating myself was like Headbangers Ball.
Oh wow!
And then they would show like an old video, and then I kind of went down the rabbit hole from Metallica, and then basically all like the Diamond Head covers, and then kind of find it through that, and then kind of you were cooler.
Yeah.
You did the vinyl thing.
Me and Luna, we had this like older buddy who kind of showed us the ropes back in the day. But yeah, Chris Nab, respect.
Right on.
Cool.
Respect.
What
Well,
about
speaking
you?
of respect, I do want to give props to Rick
Yes,
Triana
thank you, Rick.
for the great
Yeah.
backdrops.
Actually, James for
photos.
introducing us to him. So
That's
James,
right,
yeah, thank you
yes.
so much, Rick. These look awesome.
So she's tired of the little hippie, you know, key
Yes.
symbol behind her. So now we got Slayer behind her.
Thank
which
you very
looks
much.
a
I
little bit
appreciate
better.
that.
There you go. So
Now, if we
props
get
to
a
you,
burning
Rick.
church or something, that would just make my day. How'd
Very
you
cool
guys
stuff.
get started in Whittier with all the metal? And like, do you have a
Well,
regular job?
Whittier, all East LA is total old school
That's
metal.
no longer
I mean,
the
I mean,
NWA
everyone knows
stuff.
it's, you know, thrash and all the death metal stuff. I mean, probably the big. I mean, that's what always bugged me about LA. Everyone always thought LA, and this is something we talk about in the documentary series, is everyone thought of LA as a Hollywood glam all the time. But even since the early 80s, East LA and all those areas were total, true hardcore metal. I mean, the kids that came out to the shows, I mean, it was all about, you know, the European style metal. And even more so now, when I saw Diamond Head and Raven, you know, it was all young, you know, Latino kids that were, you know, I thought I'd be the oldest guy there. It was, I mean, literally people were like 17, 18. It was funny. They had their moms picking them up in their car and dropping them off, and they all come up, young kids. I mean, it was like in Germany, and they all had the jackets with the patches, and I'm like freaking out. I'm telling my buddy, you know, we feel like old men here. I go, this is like a time warp. This is how we used to, you know, dress back. It's awesome. I think it's so great that you guys
we
are
would
bringing all
play
that
so
back.
many, like, when we first started, we played so many backyard shows in LA, like
Warehouses.
Warehouses, like we
Right
play
on.
all the time, and all the kids would dress up and like that. So
2 shows a night.
Two shows a night.
What about the Black Castle? Is that still around?
Oh.
Yeah.
It comes and goes. It's like closes down to get a little like eviler, you know?
Right.
And then opens up again.
It's a good venue
Oh,
for
yeah,
metal
your
shows.
chairs.
Your chairs.
I like that
Let's all
it
get
closes
real
down to
close
get
to
eviler.
Yeah, to
Like
get
that's
evil.
the
Yeah, it's
reason
like,
that
yeah.
it
Or is
closed
it
down
legal
for a
reasons
bit.
or something?
It's
Yeah.
a little evil.
They don't
Yeah.
even have alcohol there. I don't remember there being alcohol, but it's a good venue.
They started selling booze.
Oh, they did?
Maybe
oh,
not.
well, I'll go again then.
Oh, by the way, I want to say, if anyone else wants to call in, you guys want to take calls? If
Yeah,
you guys are open to
sure.
taking calls. 855-878-4652 is the number. You can talk to Holy Grail, Exmortus, and of course, the mighty Neil Haworth from Legend. Sorry, Pete, for cutting you off after that video. But I did want to introduce the video, of course, here, Hiroshima, and now in Jersey. It was interesting because it was like, you know, being in Hawaii or something to tour. You toured England, the Marquee. You had to like
to play a gig in what we would call the UK was a nightmare, because we lived on an island, had to get everything into a vans, and the cost just of actually getting over the English Channel into the UK and driving up to all the main venues, it was a nightmare.
Right.
But, we did a few, and you're yelling after so much money in your pocket to do it with.
Yeah. Well, you did. You had some show. I know you said you opened. Were you in the band with Thin Lizzy? You opened for Thin Lizzy.
No, I was getting part of it. That was just before I did join.
And they actually played the Jersey. And from what I've heard from people that have seen the show, they said that you guys, being the hometown band, kind of stole that show.
We did. We did. Awesome. No doubt about it. I mean, it was fortunate. I mean,
that was
these guys have heard of Tommy Van's show.
Oh, of course.
I mean, Radio
Friday
1.
Rock
I mean,
Show.
that was the show that we all tuned into on a Friday night kind of thing. And by chance or whatever, Tommy Van's played. I think it was Hiroshima. If Pete's on the line, he might correct me.
Is Pete still there?
He's most probably rang up.
Okay.
It's costing a fortune. I know what my brother's like. But Tommy Van's played a track, and then Legend played the next night, and it was 2,500, and that was a massive crowd for a local band to play. And they took the show. I'll be perfectly honest. And Pete's got lots of stories where, I mean, you talk about pyros on Love Gun.
Oh yeah.
We used to use them, all the time before health and safety and everything else.
Great White.
And the whole our road crew had set up pyros on the stage, but the Lizzie crew had come along and, without anybody knowing, cut all the wires and stuff. But
you said Phil was really cool. He came back after the show.
Bless him. One of my favourite all-time musicians.
Absolutely.
But he was the only one that came to the dressing room afterwards and said, "Great show, guys." All the others were,
right.
were in their own egos.
Yeah.
And
what year was this? 83?
That'd be 81.
81. Oh, 81. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So that was like
Snowy White was
Snowy
the-
White. Oh, that's right.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
So,
Renegade probably or something like that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Chinatown
Cool.
and tracks like that.
That's awesome.
So that was a brilliant gig. And
We got a phone call. So let's put the caller through.
It's Pete again.
Everything he said is wrong.
He's lying.
All right, caller, you're on the air.
Yeah, Pete's back on the line.
Oh, dude, come on.
Of course.
What is this? The Pete Haworth show?
No.
This is so weird because I'm watching you live streamed,
Right.
but it's like a few seconds behind.
Right.
Yeah. So I'm back here.
So do you have a question for Neil Haworth? How about a question for
Tommy
Jasmin
Dance
St.
on the
Clair?
Friday Rock
How about
Show
not?
didn't play Hiroshima. He played Taste of Life.
Ah,
Oh, there you go.
The correction. Oh, a great tune, Taste of Life
Yeah.
on the debut.
And I've got one gripe about anything. It's the next time you see Lars or James,
Yes.
Bob,
Uh-huh.
they do a cover of a Legend tune.
They do.
Because Lars ripped off our first album and copied it to all his mates.
What's...
And that's how the only reason that we became known in LA.
Well, it was Lars. I got the Legend album through Lars because my best friend, Patrick Scott, who lived in Huntington, was Lars's best friend, and we used to go to Lars's house in Newport Beach when he lived in the condo with his mom.
Yep.
And he would make cassette copies. Yep. And he made the first Legend album, which you probably saw on Ron Quintana's page. And he made that for Patrick, and he got it to me. And then I actually found Death in the Nursery came out, and I found that in the store. I was never able to find the vinyl for the first album. That was super rare and hard to find. And Lars was one of the only people that had this album, the debut Legend. So
he lived with his
that
mom.
is a little history. Yes,
his mom had it.
Brilliant.
His mom
has it.
Gave it to him, and then
I'm not sure whether Lars
brilliant.
and James could probably do Torture, though.
Plagiarism is flattery, right? I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, Lars's dad was like a big tennis pro out there, so they had like this nice conservative place in Newport Beach, and he had his drum set up there in a room. I go, dude, how could you play? I mean, Newport Beach is like the most conservative place, and he would play right in his house, and
That is so white tennis.
Yes.
I still play tennis, but I mean, it's just such a white thing.
Is it?
It's pretty white.
Well, there you go. Well, Peter, thanks for calling. Let's see if we get any other calls. Was there anything else you want to add, Pete?
No, I'm going now.
Have a drink
All right,
for
man.
us.
Yep. This
It's
guy
time
is
for
the
my
true
Ulrich
legend.
Laban.
So when is the next classic Legend album coming out? I mean, Dark Place recently came out. Maybe we should do a quick promotion for that before we get back into Exmortus and Holy Grail.
Me and Neil are working on stuff next year, 2016.
Cool.
Awesome. Well, I got to tell you, man, the last album, Dark Place, that was what, 2012 that came out?
2013.
Yeah.
2000. Okay, that was. I mean, that just took me right back to classic, old school Legend. All the songs, the Red. I mean, it was just the same kind of style. You guys haven't lost anything, and I think that's so cool.
It's groovy.
Well, we just do what we do, Bob. We always have done. We do what we do.
And you do it great.
Never been in it for the money. Never made any money.
Right.
Just do it for the music.
But you did do. You just recently did the Keep It True festival, right, in Germany.
Yeah, we did that
with Angel Witch.
Yeah, Angel Witch headlining. Yeah, and we won't talk about that. Great bunch of guys. But anyway, we did that. It was a great gig, and it's incredible. We were talking about before about the denim jackets, the cut-off denim jackets.
Yeah.
Now, me, you're talking about 79. I'll be 17. We would get in all our little cut-off denim jackets and all the patches from Kerrang magazine and stuff like that, and whatever. And it kind of faded out in the UK. And then when we went to do Germany, it was like we played in front of about 5,000 there, all with denim jackets on. It was like, it was like Back to the Future. What's going on?
Awesome.
Germany is like that, man.
Yeah.
I mean, as you guys know, you play.
Yeah.
It's
and
insane.
what was amazing was that we played Germany, I think it was about, Pete Still Online, 3 or 4 days after we released The Dark Place, and they're all singing along to it. And we thought, how the hell did they know the songs by then?
Well, that's what the internet does.
Yeah, no, it was brilliant. Awesome gig. Awesome gig,
cool.
Yeah.
Well, Tyler, get on the mic. Let's talk to Tyler a bit.
He's so shy.
silent, he is.
I'm going to have to kick him for him to talk.
Talk a little bit. Come on, about Holy Grail. What's
testing?
There he is.
Yeah, there you go.
You guys didn't give him any booze.
Oh, that's
we
what
can arrange that, but that's after the show. So tell us more about Holy Grail. Like, how did you guys start? Do you have a real job, or is this like your full-time thing?
I have a job.
Yeah, what do you do?
I work on computers, and I also help the family biz.
You should like hack
nice.
Facebook for a day. I'd like to see people's lives get destroyed just for one day.
It's not that simple.
Well, we'll discuss that later. So, Holy Grail. Tell us about Holy Grail. And like I said, like Exmortus, they describe their sound to people who've never heard them. So if people want to go out and buy a
let's
record,
play. We got a little time. Let's play a Holy Grail video, and then we'll play an Exmortus video.
Let them decide how you sound or what
there
you
we
sound
go.
like.
Little Holy Grail. There we go. All right.
Should we play in a garage or a warehouse?
Sound cut off.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go.
That was pretty good, actually.
That's
You guys
awesome.
are,
Ride the
like,
Void.
talented.
That's
I love
the title
guitars.
track to the. Are we getting sound here? Oh, okay.
Yeah, Ride the Void.
Oh, this cut off. There we go.
That was amazing. Like, the guitars are awesome in that. It's
Thank
really
you.
super. You guys are super talented. I know you guys will totally forget about us in like a year from now when you're like super big and touring Europe and playing with Judas Priest, but yeah.
We'll never forget
It's-
you guys. You guys have way cooler stories than we do. You're like, yeah, I was hanging out playing tennis with Lars, and
Yeah,
no
with
big
Steve
deal.
Harris. I mean, no one does that.
Marty Friedman was, sending me pen pal
That's still
dick pics
disturbing.
or whatever.
That
it
is
is.
disturbing, by the way, with grown men corresponding.
Hey, we weren't grown. We were 16 at the
Still,
time.
two
Come
guys
on.
corresponding.
Hey, what's wrong
I
with that?
corresponded with a felon, at least.
You correspond with a perverted felon in jail.
It's
so-
been
when you were
yes,
15.
I've attracted bedmen since my teenage days.
Cool.
Yes.
Well, you got the Exmortus video
Yeah.
queued up, right? Was it Immortal Flesh? I think
Mortality Made Flesh.
Yeah, Mortal Mortality Made Flesh. Something like that.
Mortal Mortality Made Flesh
Take
by
two.
Exmortus. Yeah.
Let's see if we got that queued
Cool.
up. There we go. All right. There you go. That's Mortus.
You guys are
Immortality
awesome.
Made Flesh.
Huh?
I know that thing.
And little
Yeah.
David Rivera on the
I went to high school with
guitars.
him.
I wish David
Sling
came in
Bay.
today.
I know.
So I don't know
I
who
like
you want to
that.
pick on now.
Yeah. We can still pick on him. We
I
can
can
like
still
have
pick
him
on
call.
David Rivera.
We should
I
have
know,
him
right?
call.
We'll have him
Just
call.
pick on-
Well, we would joke if we toured together, we would
You
be
guys
the
would be
same
great.
guy.
Yeah, you guys
Yeah.
would be really good together. Though. I mean, you guys have come such a long way. When I saw you from Dark Tranquility and then all this stuff, you
Yeah.
play such a tight, like, it's just, everything's great.
Everything's growing, yeah. Actually, we do have a show coming up with you guys.
When?
That's right,
Where?
with Flotsam and
The,
Jetsam.
the 23rd of December.
Where?
In L.A.?
Santa Ana.
Oh,
I'll go to
really?
that
Oh,
show
okay.
for sure. You used to
Flotsam.
text me your shows, and then you stopped
I
texting
stopped.
me.
Oh, at
You
the-
changed your number. You blocked me.
Changed my
Ooh.
block your number.
Yeah.
Well, maybe
What-
it's
what-
texted me.
Give us a date. Is that the observatory you're playing?
No, we're playing a place called Malone's.
Malone's,
on
that's
the
a cool place.
23rd, I
Yeah.
think. Flotsam, Holy Grail, Night Demon, Exmortus.
Oh, Night Demon. We had Jarvis on a couple
Oh,
weeks
right,
ago. Yeah,
right.
he's awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's awesome.
And again, it's you guys. So many of the younger bands carrying on that tradition. That's a great bill, and having the bills like that. I was telling Neil, man, you got to get a new wave of British heavy metal bill like the Diamond Head Raven, but get like 5 or
I
6
love
of the
Raven.
bands out.
Yeah,
I know.
Yeah. I mean, Raven.
You know.
I mean, you talk about like the bands that were around that time, and like Raven were up there, and
Oh, hell yeah.
you know, and you know, Diamond Head, yeah, brilliant. Angel Witch, another one.
Yeah, get them all together, do a tour,
Yeah,
and
we
get
would
you
love
know
to.
the American. You can have the
These
U.S.
guys are
versus
great.
England.
I
Have
love that.
Exmortus and Holy
Awesome. I
Grail
love
and
It'll be the
Night
Stay Hard,
Demon
Stay
and-
Wet tour.
There you
Yes.
go.
Remember that video, that whole album?
Oh, real quick, you got also a new project that you got,
Yeah.
Frail Sincerity, and you got the shirt. Show up the CD there.
Yeah.
There you go. Now that is a little bit. I actually haven't had a chance to listen to it yet, but it's a little bit different than the Legend stuff.
Yeah, it is. What happened was when we were writing The Dark Place, I was writing quite a lot of kind of what I would call hard rock, more rock and roll type riffs that just were not Legends material, so they were kind of put aside. And then we had a really busy year, 2013, promoting the Dark Place, and then a couple of things cropped up, and so we decided to take a bit of a break. But I decided to kind of do a side project. So I've got some really great local musicians, a couple of musicians that go back to when I was a teen, pulled them out of the kind of the bands they were playing in, and said, "Come on, guys, let's do an album."
Very cool.
And we worked on it for a few months, and when the studio released it. So so it's a side project, but it is more classic 70s hard rock. It's more AC/DC-ish type songs. So complete contrast to Legend.
Very cool.
So,
I'm definitely looking forward to checking that out. We're going to be closing the
Yeah.
show in a bit,
Yeah.
so before we have a chance to, I want to get you guys to all, give out your contacts and all that stuff. But talk a little bit what else you guys got going on. If there's anything else you guys want to talk about. Being cousins, Conan and Mario.
Yeah.
Growing up, was it? You must have been jamming like at an early age, just jamming kind of covers and what?
We were like,
talk-
I was like 10, I think. You were 11, or a little younger, maybe, right?
Yeah.
Hell, we would even dress up as Kiss for Halloween.
Yeah.
In
Every year for like 5 years.
Now you guys
5
got to
years
be
straight,
young
yeah.
too. I mean, you guys look
you
like
guys are
early
young.
20s to me. If I
25.
oh, this guy. Yeah, okay.
I just turned 27 last month.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Kids.
These damn
Awesome.
kids today.
Yeah, my dad got us all into this stuff, so.
That's all.
Pretty
Okay,
much.
cool. Right on. So as far as Exmortus, what else you got going on? You're finished the Marty Friedman tour. You're gonna do a few shows. You said the show with Flotsam, and is that just a one show thing, or you gonna do actually a tour?
Yeah, that's just one show for that month,
Mhm.
and we're gonna go on tour with Enforcer, Warbringer, and Cauldron.
Oh, cool. Warbringer, another great band.
January
another
to
good
February,
one,
so
yeah.
that should be really awesome.
Very cool. Awesome. There you go. The
Yeah, so yeah,
oscillating
we're-
head
You gotta get the hair back, man. I don't know.
Going.
Hopefully
Yeah.
he grows his hair out again.
The Phantom Fro. you
Phantom
can-
Fro. Phantom Bang.
Yes. Awesome. Cool. So how can people get in touch with Exmortus then?
Just call them.
Just
No.
call us.
Call
yeah.
us.
Here's
Get out
the
your phone
number.
number.
Here's the number now.
Yeah, nobody wanted to call on the
PayPal.
show today. What's up with
PayPal,
that?
pen pals.
You're probably going, what the
Facebook.
hell's a pen pal?
I know, right? Just Facebook us.
Yeah, Facebook, all the social media.
Twitter.
Yeah, Instagram.
Stuff like that.
Yeah.
YouTube,
And thanks again, all you guys, for coming out and supporting the Inside Metal Show. I'll let you
Thank
guys
you
know
for
when
having
we do.
us.
Yeah,
thanks
we're
so
going to
much,
do
man.
a
That was
new
great,
one
man.
great.
beginning the first of the year. Yeah, this was the old school days, from the Starwood Van Halen era. So the next one's going to be 82 to 86.
Yeah, right.
So we're going to get right in the heart of it. And Holy Grail, man, you got a new album coming out in February, I believe, 2016.
Yeah.
Can't give
Yeah.
the title, but it'll be
Yeah.
coming
Well,
out.
I think we can. It's what is it? Times of Pride and Peril. Our
Yeah.
singer's been saying it live. So.
I saw that on the
Yeah.
internet, too.
Okay, so
Yeah.
it's old
Yeah.
news.
Okay.
Prosthetic Records.
Prosthetic
Yes.
Records.
Great label, by the way. And that was the label that really
Agreed.
discovered Lamb of God, right? And
Yeah.
a lot of... and now that was through Metal Blade originally, right? Wasn't it kind of...
Yeah, I think it came from there.
Yeah. And now it's and of course Marty Friedman is on the label, and
Yeah.
great label. And Kelly's here. She's watching in the green room.
Hi, Kelly.
You
Yeah.
can come
Kelly.
pop in if you like Kelly. So how can we get a hold of? How can people get a hold of? Holy
We're on
Grail?
Twitter, Holy Grail,
Twitter, holygrailofficial.com.
Facebook.
Got all them links.
We will probably respond to messages. We do it, so that's why it takes so long. So I'm sorry. Yeah, Twitter, Instagram.
Any tours?
Friendster. No, I'm just kidding.
Any tours in the beginning of the year to support the
We're
regular
working stuff. I think we're gonna make an announcement. Another thing, I don't know when we can say it, but yeah, that should be coming up in the early February time.
Oh, by the way, I don't know if people are aware of this. Check this out. You guys probably didn't even know that Holy Grail actually has their own beer. You guys-
Oh,
are you
cool.
aware of this?
I want
Yeah, I've
some.
had that.
Hell
Yeah.
There you go.
I always act like I never heard it before, and people would bring me a 6-pack, and I'm like, "Oh, look at that! Yeah, I'll
There you
drink
go.
it."
Can I try one?
Free beer.
Yeah.
So that's when you know you guys are rock stars. You got Iron Maiden, AC/DC have their own beer, and now of course Holy Grail.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Free ale.
I think we both had our own
Ale.
burger at a Grill 'em All in La Habra, right?
Oh, cool.
Oh yeah.
Oh, not us. I don't think
Oh,
so.
they
You're
got to
gonna
do
have
it.
your,
Yeah.
You will. You have to.
There's be a lot of jalapenos in that one.
Very cool.
Chorizo, eh?
And I guess we're closing up. Neil, last but not least, Neil Haworth, legend. What do you got going on? Of course, you got. We talked about.
Yeah. I've got the new album, which I'm kind of promoting a bit at the moment, and we hope to play pretty soon locally, and then maybe some UK shows.
Suck up to
some
that mic, Neil.
Yeah.
There you go.
Like Peter mentioned, there's some background material me and Pete are working on, but Legend albums take a little time, to write, and they're not rushed. So hopefully next year there'll be a new piece of Legend work
Very
out
cool.
on the market. So and then obviously we'll be doing some dates hopefully with Legend as well. We're waiting for that, invite over here, that that lineup that you mentioned
be
before.
coming. It'll be coming soon. And Jasmin St. you just did some stuff in Vegas, some signings and everything.
Yeah, I was signing at somewhere. Then I just came in from an audition.
And you're going to North Carolina too,
yes,
right? Coming up
for Wrestle K. Just catch it all on Twitter. Jasmin St.
I'm sure Jake will probably find that page up there as we end the
Insanity.
show. Yes. Keeping busy. Well, thanks. Thank you, gentlemen, for coming out. And sorry it was such a clustered show, but it worked out great. You guys share the mic well.
Yeah. We're the homies.
So, yeah. And any other shout-outs before we get out? Anyone?
Yeah, David, you should have been down here.
Be excellent to each other.
To Pete.
Pete.
Bye, Pete. All right, thanks again for tuning in. Inside Metal Show on TradioV. Thank you, Jake. Jake, the producer. Right on. We'll be back next week. We don't know if we have a guest or not. We'll see. We could have maybe no guests, or we could have 20 guests. Just to piss off Jake. We'll just completely fill the room up with guests.
Oh, God, no.
All right, guys. Thanks again for tuning in. Thanks for the support. See you next week.
Radio NTV